Hello there people of YouTube, my name is Josh and I am your movie apprentice, and today I'm going to be reviewing 1985's The Breakfast Club, directed by John Hughes and starring Emilio Estavez, Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson. And this film is about 5 teenagers that are in Saturday detention. They are from different cliques, and over the course of the day they realise that they are not as different as they initially think. Now before I get into the review, if you like what I do on the channel, then hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So this film, I don't know why I'm reviewing it. No matter what I say now, anything that can be said about this movie has been said. It's 35 years old, but if I can get one person to watch this film, then that will legitimately make me happy. What's good about this film? It's so simple. It's literally 5 teenagers in a library having to write an essay describing who they think they are. And it is said quite simply that they are these 5 stereotypes and they are living within these stereotypes. But over the course of the day, they realise they can relate to each other a lot more than just face value. And the reason for this working so well is such a tight script. There is so much dialogue that at first glance seems like just pointless meandering conversation, but it really isolates the different personalities and their views and how they feel about certain things within the ideas of school life and everything around it. Judd Nelson is fantastic as John Bender. He is by far the loudest and most rambunctious of the group. You have Allison, who's this quiet artist kid. You have Molly Ringwald, who's your classic prom queen. You have Brian, who's your stereotypical nerd. And you have Andrew, who is your stereotypical jock, but he is in the wrestling team rather than the football team, as most teen movies would like to have. And this film just stands out in terms of teen movies for what it is. A lot of people know teen movies now as these horny, alcohol-filled sessions that have been sticking with us since the American Pie days. But back in 1985, it was all about just the school life, the cliques, and the dialogue, and it worked really well. This is a very unique film for what it is. Just seeing all these personalities clash and collide over so many topics. Now, there are some things about this that haven't aged well, but for the most part, no matter who you are, you can relate to at least one of these characters. Myself, I feel like I'm a blend between Allison, Brian, and John. John because he was a metalhead, Brian because I was the massive nerd in school, and Allison's a creative person, and also she's sort of like the token goth, but she's not really goth, but I have that element of me as well. So those 3 are my 3 favourites. I'm not a big fan of Claire or Andrew, purely because I don't relate to them, but there will be people out there that relate to either one or multiple characters across this film. You know a film's doing something right when there have been so many homages and parodies to this over the course of history since the film came out. In terms of the thing I don't like about this film, well, there is a certain point involving John and Claire which hasn't aged too well, and there is a very inaccurate bit involving a lot of marijuana where a character decides to do a full track and field run. And as someone that used to dabble in that stuff back in my uni days, I can confirm that ain't no one smoking up and going for a little jog and a little bit of free running. That just doesn't happen. Or maybe it does, maybe I was just lazy. Who knows? I'm getting sidetracked here. The best parts of this film are when they honestly just peel back their personas and cliches. At the start of the film, they were all very much hiding within their own little boxes, but as the day goes on, they branch out a little more, they grow to open up more, they connect more, all because they are bored and they just don't want to do this essay that the teacher, Richard Vernon, who by the way is an iconic character, and I love Richard Vernon. He's an absolute asshole, but he's very enjoyable to watch, and a particular favourite scene of mine is a confrontation between him and John, which you have definitely seen referenced in the past, and it's just such a fun scene. But yeah, just seeing them unite even when they don't like each other very much. There's elements of the film and parts where they're at odds with the teacher. No matter how much they've argued with each other literally 10 seconds before the teacher comes in, moment the teacher comes in, they're united and covering for each other and watch each other's back, because that is just the mentality of being that age in school. It's you versus the teachers. Obviously, the most powerful part of this film is when they really do let go and break down in front of each other and confess several things. The strongest bit for me is Brian's story. It's also fun seeing how they've all ended up in detention. Like, when we go all the way through, it's like, how does the brainy nerdy kid end up in detention? And I like how throughout the film, they sort of build up the severity of what they did to get into it. Starting off with Claire's discretion, which was pretty basic compared to Andrew O'Brien's crime to get into detention, which I thought was very nicely built up, but it does have a great little punchline at the end when you find out the last person's motivation for coming into this detention. But you're just going to have to watch this film to see how this builds up, because it's very much a slow film that builds up steadily and slowly, and you're seeing the layers of these people peeling back as the film goes on, and it's just such a joy to watch. It is so simple. Some of the best films are the ones that are just simple. This was just sticking 5 cliches in a library together and having them interact with each other. That is the entire film. And while it is broken up by some fun little sequences, such as running around the school and a couple of dance numbers, for the most part, it's all about them sizing each other up and getting to know each other. And whilst not a lot happens within the film, you still feel triumph at the end. The iconic ending with the fist raise, it's just embedded in cinema history. The fact that the Oscars had Don't You Forget About Me as a reference to the song Don't You Forget About Me, which was such a perfect song for this film. It just works so well within this, because what happens to him afterwards, we don't know. We just know this one little nugget. This is one of those films where I am glad there was never a sequel. Apparently there were plans for sequels. They were going to meet up every 10 years to catch up and find out what happened to these characters. But there were some disputes between John Hughes and Judd. They didn't really like each other that much off screen, which is a great shame. But I am also glad that we don't have a sequel to this, because this film is just a nugget of 80s brilliance. And the fact it still resonates with people 35 years on. 35 years this film has been out, and people are still finding meaning in it. I watched this for the first time back in 2012, 2013 time. So that's nearly 30 years. And it gave me chills when I first watched it. And I still relate to these characters at my age. I'm 24 now, and I'm still relating to these characters. I guarantee by the time I'm 40, I still relate to some of these kids in some way, shape or form. This is John Hughes at his best. This is a fantastic film. And I think it helps that none of the actors in this actually went on to do anything truly amazing. Molly Ringwald had 16 Candles, and Emilio Estavez had the 3 Mighty Ducks films, but for the most part, none of them really did anything. So they are forever known as these characters. And I just think, in a bittersweet way, that has worked very well in terms of this film aging beautifully. So The Breakfast Club, I'm going to say, despite the couple of things that do age poorly, but despite those, The Breakfast Club is a perfect cup of tea. So The Breakfast Club, have you seen it? If you have, let me know who your favourite character is down in the comments below. Expect to see a Wild Love Movies episode about this film sometime in the future. And if you do want to see that, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. It would really mean a lot. Coming up on the channel, I aim to have my Wild Love Movies episode of Rush coming out this weekend. I didn't manage to get my community episode out of the way this week because there's a lot of episodes to get through, but expect that list coming up shortly. And I'm going to try and catch up on some 2020 films, some newer films that I've not seen this year yet, but I am going to catch up on them and get reviews out to them to you very soon. And until next time, guys, my name is Josh, I am your movie apprentice, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. While you are here, if you haven't done it yet, please feel free to drop a like and consider hitting that subscribe button for more reviews coming all the time. And also, while you are here, there are some other videos over there that you might want to sink your teeth into. Have a good day, guys, and do enjoy.